be back.
What?
Hi, welcome back. I'm John Landrine. This is Merlin English, and
Hello.
we are the ministers of the movies.
Yes, yes. Now, by and large, our reviews will focus on entertainment value and fun factor, leading to a recommendation as to whether or not we view the movie is worth spending your entertainment dollars.
And we'll do something a little bit different than your standard thumbs up, thumbs down. Instead, we'll give you three options. One is what you might call a thumbs up, or we'll say, this is great, you should go out and see it in the movies right now, even if you can't catch the matinee. Second one will be kind of a thumb sideways, which means it's not all that bad, but you might not want to spend the movie money, maybe just go catch it on video. And third might be what you consider a thumbs down, where we'll say, you might just wait until this thing comes out on Netflix or something like that. Lastly, we'll also give you a Christian quotient, so looking at it through the eyes of how we do as Christians, which you know sometimes our views on things don't match up with what they say in the movies as far as PG and E and all that stuff. So we'll tell you whether it's okay to bring family and the children. It's got some values, or maybe you might want to just stay away from it. So this week we went to see the highly anticipated fifth movie in the franchise of Terminator.
Right.
Terminator Genisys.
All right.
Let's check it out.
John, you can do this. You just go and you don't look back. My whole life I prepared my son to lead humanity in the fight against the machines.
But this night, we take back our world!
But there was one thing I could never prepare him for.
The machines tried to rig the game, sent a Terminator back to the time before the war to kill my mother.
I'll go back. Let me save her.
Come with me if you want to live. Kyle Reese,
You know who I am?
we've been prepping for you to arrive for over a decade.
Wait. The Terminator.
It is nice to meet you.
I've been trying to teach him to blend in. I know it needs work. John,
Hi, Mom.
how can you be here? What are you doing?
John!
What have they done to my son?
Survive was what you taught me.
Where is he?
Get out.
Not machine. Not man. I'm born.
I can't leave him.
Whatever they did to John, we need a reversal.
Everything's changed. We are humanity's last hope. Load up.
I've been waiting for you.
Well, very, very highly anticipated.
Yeah,
Waited
indeed.
for this for years.
Oh, indeed.
I'm going to let you take this
Okay,
one. I'm
okay.
gonna let you
I'll start, John. Well, let me begin by saying I am a fan of the franchise in general. As you alluded to earlier, this is the fifth installment. My favorite movie of all of them is Terminator 2: Judgment Day. I mean,
Absolutely.
that is a movie for me that I've watched 3 or 4 times, and it was by far the best movie of the 5. So I am a fan. I am also a fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I go back to the Conan days.
Right,
I really
right.
enjoyed Conan.
Right,
Kind of
right.
like put him on the charts, established him as a major star in terms of action.
Right.
And I have that in my library. So with those as at least a measure of full disclosure, let's say.
Okay.
I probably like this movie more than what I should have.
Okay.
Okay. I certainly the special effects I thought were very good, and certainly at the level which one would expect in today's time with regards to the technology which is available, and action almost from the start throughout the movie. I enjoyed that as well. Arnold is getting a little bit long in the tooth. You can see a little he's now 67 years old, so he's not the Arnold from the Conan days. And I say that figuratively as well as literally. When he smiles, it just appears as if his teeth were longer. Okay. But he's probably about the only thing I really liked about the movie in terms of actors was Arnold. I did not like the female lead that I understand had a major role. I haven't watched this series in Game of Thrones. And I know the male lead, I've seen him on, I forget the name of the movie, starts with a D. But anyway, I've seen him recently on a movie as well. I actually liked him better in that movie than I did in this one. What Die Hard was the one?
Die Hard, Bruce Willis' son.
Oh, okay. I just didn't. I mean, I did not like the actors playing the lead roles. I really didn't. I mean, just they just didn't grab me. They just didn't seem charismatic. They didn't bring a smile to my face in terms of their personalities. Just nothing about the lead actors really just grabbed me in terms of really liking them. I mean, I guess they did a decent role acting, but I just didn't like them. There was zero chemistry, I thought, between them. I mean, eventually they supposedly fall in love and, the story, etc. But I didn't feel at any point that there was any affection, any budding, anything between them. So I didn't like that. And the plot line for me was convoluted. I mean, it was like, okay, start off 2029, then we're back to 1984. Then we're up to 2017. But somebody came into the picture in 2014. I mean, it was all over the place. And with various characters kind of, maneuvering backwards and forward through time, it was difficult for me to kind of figure out where were we. And then there's Arnold that showed up apparently, or his character that showed up apparently prior to 1984 because he was there when she was 9 years old, right? Which was a new twist on the plot line. And so for me, John, it was like, okay, where are we? I mean, what century, what decade are we?
What's going on?
What's going on? So I was kind of confused by the flow and the plot line, etc. Did not like the actors. They were not that charismatic to me. There was no chemistry. I kind of did like Arnold, though, again, getting a little long in the tooth. But again, I am a fan of the franchise. I am a fan of Arnold, so I probably would tend to give it more credit, if you will, in terms of value than really in reality what it was. So,
wow, I'd have to. I don't think I can be as kind.
Okay.
I agree with you 100% on these characters. I mean, it was poorly casted. Period. I mean, the reason why you just couldn't feel any chemistry with these lead characters, they were unbelievable. You did not buy that woman as Sarah Connor. She didn't have the toughness. She didn't have the grittiness. And of course, this was in her 1984 days before she started. But still, even at that time, she was just not believable.
Right.
And yes, the Kyle Reese character.
Right.
I just couldn't buy him for a minute. He just the only character that did seem to make sense was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
I mean, the rest, nobody else seemed to fit in their roles.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And from now, I too, serious fan of the franchise. I can literally recite most of the first two movies. Just I can tell you every line that's coming. But that's one of the things. Even as a big fan of the franchise, even as knowing the storyline inside and out, I was going, what? So imagine if you don't know the franchise.
Right.
If you don't know exactly what happened,
Right.
you are lost in this movie. It doesn't make any sense. The whole idea of the T-1000 and the liquid metal guy,
Right.
there's no build up to that. There's no explaining that. So if you hadn't seen the first two movies, none of this even could make any sense to you.
Right.
You know, I mean, if a lot of it didn't make sense to me, it certainly can't make any sense to a lot of people who don't know. I think they really just messed this up from the beginning. The idea,
Right.
okay, the idea it started to make a little sense. At times, it seemed like it started to break some ground, that they went back to an earlier time. But then it starts to just fall apart. Nothing stays. First of all, one simple question is, if they found out that, okay, now in this new timeline, that everything happens in 2017, which I really thought they did simply because to bring people in our age more into the movie. If everything happened back in 1997, it's like it's too old.
Right.
So they just had to do something to bring it up to date. All right, so, but if everything happens in 2017, whatever day it was, so they're going to go back to stop this launch, to stop it from happening. Why do they go back to the same day? They got a time machine. Why did they go back to a month before the thing launched and stop it then?
Right.
Here they are in the last minutes literally racing against the clock. Why are you racing against the clock if you have a time machine? Hello? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You know, and the other thing is, too, and Arlene, you know, my girl pointed out when we were watching this movies together, is that the people in the future, in that post-apocalyptic, horrible world, it's how they grew up,
Right.
they were clean and polished. This army they were more clean shaven than I am. I mean, these guys they were clean. You look at their army outfits and everything. These guys look like Navy SEALs.
Right.
Wait a minute. At least that was one thing the other two movies kept right. You know, in the future, these guys were rough and man, they had it hard. This was a tough time. But here these guys they're out there with barely using tools and fighting. But they come in and they are just sharp, man. I mean, they got manicured fingernails. I'm like, it just didn't make any sense.
Right.
So no, I think the whole thing just fell apart. They also forced the one-liners
Yeah,
too
they did.
much. Oh, God. The first two movies, they fell into place. The one-liners were natural. They made sense.
Right.
Here it's like every line they were just trying to do something to make it comical. I did not like the movie.
Yeah.
I wanted so bad to love
Right.
this movie,
Right.
and I was sorely disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, one other thing that I did not mention that I did like a little, not that it was particularly creative or inventive, but it was a bit different. It was a bit different. And that's how they filmed a couple of the scenes from the first Terminator, the exact same footage,
Right.
different actors playing the characters. Certainly with the benefit of the latest of today's technology in terms of digital technology, etc. But it was literally the exact same script
Yeah.
being read. The Bill Paxton character, one of the punk rockers or whatever they were. I said, that's different.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I don't recall having seen that done like that before. Again, not necessarily creative, but different.
Right.
And that did bring a little small smile to the
Yes,
face because I do recall those scenes from the original Terminator. So I did like that.
It started out, you're right, it started out, you thought this was really going to have a chance. I like that they blended those things. It reminded me so much of Back to the Future Part 2. Okay, where Michael J. Fox character goes back and he's watching himself do the things he did when he went back the first time. Very good. Okay, I thought, and it was the exact same scenes. The people looked like the garbage truck driver looked pretty much like the same guy from the first movie. The guy in the alleyway.
Right.
They did that very well, and it was starting to work. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like this. And then all of a sudden it's like somebody just scratched the record. It just went crazy. It was like, what happened?
Yeah.
So I, all in all, for me, even though I thought it could have been kind of fun. I'd still have to say, I'd say sideways. I'd say I wouldn't have went to see this in the movies.
Yeah.
I hate to say that,
Yeah.
but for me, I'd have to give it a sideways. Wait until it's on video.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, John, I would kind of sideways with a slight slope. It's not exactly a flat.
Right.
It's not exactly horizontal. A slight slope because I did enjoy the special effects. I did enjoy all of the action from start to finish.
Right.
And again, as I alluded from the start, I am a fan of the franchise. So I would give it kind of a slight slope. See it at the movies, but make sure it is super bargain, triple bargain matinee.
You got a coupon.
You know, you got with 25 to 50% off coupon. Whereas you can see it at the movie theater, but make sure you're paying the cheapest price that you can get for it. Because I think it's still worthy of a big screen experience, given the special effects, given the action. Did like Arnold again, though getting a bit longer in the tooth, so to speak. So I would kind of give it a kind of slight incline to see at the movie, but make sure you don't pay a high price for the ticket.
How do you feel about the Christian perspective?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, there was some harsh language, but not significant along the way. Some sexual innuendos, but maybe some slight nudity. But really not that much. It wasn't a main theme in the movie at all. Just kind of a flashpoint, one flashpoint that I do recall. So in general, I think it was pretty innocuous in terms of Christian value relative to some of those factors. Now, in terms of Christian values from a perspective of kind of the values that we live by, I mean, it didn't add anything there. I mean, there wasn't any real big sacrifice, the small sacrifice that really didn't quite work because there was no chemistry between the two actors. Was Kyle Reese willing to give up himself for Sarah Connor and so on and so forth, willing to die for her? But in that, they seemed like strangers. That had no affection. You just didn't feel that sacrifice. Right. As a matter of fact, you didn't feel that the sacrifice had any teeth in it at all.
No.
He was just acting out, just reading the script. And so Christian values, I don't think I didn't see much there to the good or to the bad, frankly.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I mean, language is okay. I mean, that pre-teen, middle teenage area, I think is fine. Didn't do too bad with the violence. There were a couple of scenes where, the T2, the Terminator 1000, the T1000 is inherently a very evil person, which this one, exactly what it was, I don't know, but didn't really have that. Although there was one scene where he really got kind of nasty with the guard that was in the office when he came back at the end. He kind of did him pretty bad. But all in all, yeah, I'd say it's there too.
Yeah.
So, I wish I liked it more.
Yeah.
I really did. I had a chance to do it. Yeah. So anyway, there you have it. Ministers of the Movies with Terminator Genisys. Merlin and I both think might should have waited till it comes out on video, though Merlin says, maybe check it in the movies if you can get a good price. We both feel as far as taking the young ones, it's okay to pass. Doesn't really add anything to Christian values. Doesn't really take away. Not too much violence, and the language is okay. Yeah. So there you have it, Ministers After Movies. Join us next week when I'm not exactly sure what we'll see, but you'll enjoy it.
All right. Take care.
Oh man, I don't know. I wish it was better.
Yeah, so.